Well, it's best to know the worth of what you got before it's gone. But you can't let yourself get stuck because you're afraid you might be wrong. You're nostalgic for 68, I'm nostalgic for 99. But sometimes thinking back too much can make you close your eyes. Cause what we do today matters both today and tomorrow. Well, the point of learning history is to build something new. I don't care what you read about unless it impacts what you do. You want to recreate 68, you want to recreate 99. Try learning their hard lessons to reflect and then refine. Cause the good old days just suck sometimes if you ask those who were there. And the answers weren't just blown in the wind, they were put there. And what we do today matters both today and tomorrow. But history gets simplified with the passing on of time. And causes and effects sometimes take decades to define. I've seen the long shadow of 68 by the ruins of the Berlin Wall. I've seen the long shadow of 68 in Seattle. And looking back from here now, all the pieces seem to fit. Sometimes it's hard to notice the changing world when you're right inside of it. But without us, the future is a boat without a sail. Without our best attempts, we set the next ones up to fail. What we do today matters both today and tomorrow. Woo! Thanks, y'all. So I was thinking about that song a lot when I was writing it. I was thinking about the war, specifically in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I've been somebody who's been an anti-war activist since September 12th and 2001, and knowing what was coming, sort of, you know. And I don't know, looking back from here, and you're like, whoa, we failed to stop either of these wars that we've been working on for 10 years now, some of us. And I work really closely with a group that you've probably heard of called Iraq Veterans Against the War. A lot of them came out and participated in the Occupy movement because the economic situation, the economic forces in the United States are the reason that these people ended up in Iraq and Afghanistan. Because the Wall Street folks, the war profiteers, the big companies that make a lot of money from war, they have an interest in sustaining these things and sending these young people, young, mostly poor people into battle. So anyways, I was thinking about that. And then I started thinking, man, what would this country be like if we didn't have an anti-war movement for 10 years? What kind of space would have closed? How much space did we keep open, right? And yeah, it's important to think about the negative space also when we're assessing the things that we do, right? And this song is kind of about that. It's about the people. It's about a lot of these people who this song is about. They never saw Mubarak leave. They never saw Ben Ali leave Tunisia. They never saw the movement erupt in Spain. They never saw Occupy Wall Street erupt. They never got to even see the tweets from what's going on in Montreal, because the song's about the people who were killed in Egypt and Tunisia, in Syria, in Bahrain, in Yemen, in these uprisings, who don't know necessarily the effect of the fact that they stayed put, but they're certainly not forgotten. And this is about them. We raised up your flag with the Egyptian tide and took to the streets for your future and your pride. And the cops and the soldiers, well, some took your side. The rest just pointed and fired. Oh, comrade, we are listening to your songs of the streets. We are listening through the bullets and the bombs. We can still hear you sing. Well, they can crush the flowers, but they can't stop the spring. We walk down a path so many walked before, an unexpected martyr in an unwanted war. But it was a moment of pushing a global open door, and the people of the world moved forward. Oh, comrade, we are listening to your songs of the streets. We are listening through the bullets and the bombs. We can still hear you sing. Well, they can crush the flowers, but they can't stop the spring. We raised up your flag for the world to see, as you stood face to face with the military. But your sacrifice and pain, well, it hasn't been in vain, 'cause there's a lot more flowers blooming. Comrade, we are listening to your songs of the streets. We are listening through the bullets and the bombs. We can still hear you sing. Well, they can crush the flowers, but they can't stop the spring. Well, they can crush the flowers, but they can't stop the spring.
Yeah!
Woo!
Olivier!
Oh, thank you. Alright, so, I'll probably just play one or two more. So people can, like, talk to each other and stuff. Let's do this one while these gentlemen are out here.
Yeah.
As you probably know well, tonight was not the first time that police have violently tried to stop the freedom of assembly and free speech and people's right to advocate for changes in their lives. In fact, it's been going on for a long time. And it's the reason that so many hundreds of people were killed in Tahrir Square trying to overthrow the US-backed dictatorship of Mubarak. It's because cops shot them or drove trucks into them or buses into them, into crowds of people. And it was illegal to walk in the streets in Egypt too. And that's why these people are dead now. It's also the same reason that a lot of young African Americans were killed in the 50s by Klansmen who were also police. Yeah, sometimes it's an unfortunate factor that you have to work through in order to make basic changes in our lives, like getting the right to vote for candidates that barely make a damn difference in the end anyways. And people pay for that with their lives. And it wasn't an accident, they were murdered. And this song goes out to a friend of mine named Scott Olson, who's a member of Iraq Veterans Against the War. He fought supposedly for this country. He fought for the corporations of this country. And he was told he was fighting on behalf of us in Iraq, freeing up those oil fields.